Hello and welcome to another episode of Ewell Acres. Today we're going to continue on with our discussions about beekeeping, but today we're going to be talking about the glorious and oh so humble 5-gallon bucket. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to another episode. So today we're going to be talking about the tool of the 5-gallon bucket. Now there are tools that are necessary to have, there are some that are highly recommended to have, and then there are some that are just nice to have. When you look at the 5-gallon bucket, a lot of times people don't look at it as, you know what, that's just not really that pertinent or that important. Well, I would put it in the not necessarily have to have, but the highly recommended to have category. There are just so many vast universal uses for the 5-gallon bucket. One of the main things that I primarily use my 5-gallon buckets for is to use them to not only hold tools when I go on inspections. You can hang cases around them. If you go to scrape off excess wax or other hunting material, I like to take my hive tool and scrape it off the side of it so that way I can actually continue to collect that wax for rendering down later on. By far, one of the most useful tools that I use for the 5-gallon bucket, though, is in collecting for honey. When I go to actually spin down the honey, I will take a fine mesh colander or cheesecloth and put it over the top of that 5-gallon bucket and allow the honey to flow into that, in which it gets strained. And then that serves as a holding container that you can put on a honey gate to allow it to continue to flow through to fill smaller bottles, if you will, or just as a holding container for multiple gallons worth of honey that you'll inevitably collect over the long-term period of time. One of the other great things that I love using about the 5-gallon bucket is in modern times, there's actually been a few lids that have come out using for it. Now, not only do you have that traditional pop lid with the little 5-gallon wrench that you use to pop it open, which I highly recommend you use as well because it will easily help to open that lid, but there is another lid called the gamma lid. And what the gamma lid is used for is it has a rubber seal on an exterior that you pound on the ground like your traditional lid does. However, there is a second inner part that allows to unscrew it. So that way you can, if you have material in it, you can screw it on, screw it off, and it helps to actually seal it if you're going to get in frequently. And if you're like me, and you have a 5-gallon bucket and you want to very frequently get in to just ladle out some honey or use it to go ahead and unscoop it, you're going to be getting into it a lot. And this gamma lid will very easily allow you to do so. So if you are going to use the 5-gallon bucket to hold honey, which I highly encourage you to do, get the gamma lid. It'll make your life a whole lot easier. Now that we've talked about the 5-gallon bucket, I know this wasn't a very long, sexy tool or things like that, but it's one of those universal tools that you have lying around that you think about that you don't really realize how often you use it until you actually take the time to think about how often you actually use it. So, let me know in the comments below. Do you have a 5-gallon bucket lying around? Do you like to use it for beekeeping? Let me know in the comments below. I'm always curious to see what people use their 5-gallon buckets for. If you like what we're doing, don't forget to subscribe, click on that bell for future notifications. And once again, thanks for joining us. We look forward to seeing you next time.